to see a single overtime from any team. I think if we're going to see it, starting now, very likely between these two. Coastline we have seen a lot of, but Lion we also have seen very little of so far. So Vodafone Giants taking that right out.
Yeah, definitely. Lion has been, you know, that big ban that everybody is talking about. Nobody wants to even attempt to have that played. I think the only time we've actually had it was in an offline game against Trust Gaming versus Team Empire. That's the only time I believe that Lion has been let free this entire tournament. So certainly you're expecting to see those big bans come in time and time again. Mira, no exception to that either. We've seen her being banned out for nearly every single league, may it be the Pro League or even smaller leagues and regional leagues. Mira never gets played. Nicolai Echo has also rose up in through the ranks and has certified himself as a very strong operator that you do need to ban in some cases.
Yeah, and Blackbeard as well, we saw banned in a previous matchup on Coastline here by Trust Gaming. Definitely a very strong operator on this map, so no surprise to see that go. But the real surprise for me is going Penthouse Theater first without Mira. That is something that has become difficult for a lot of teams. I feel like teams like Rogue feel very confident in Penthouse, but a lot of teams cannot hang on this bomb site, which is why Kitchen has become such a good starting bomb site. But we've seen a lot of Kitchen fails in this tournament so far, so it seems like teams figuring that out. Clash not being banned is going to get snuck in there on a 6th pick by Drid. And then the Jackal also sneaking in instead of the Ying. I like that from coming out from Sir Boss. Going to make sure that the Roam game here is going to struggle a little bit. Chances are they'll end up with Clash getting tracked, I think, at some point, or maybe even Legion or Maestro. We'll see, assuming he lives long enough to get some work done.
So for a change, we will see that Penthouse and Theater. This is one that we haven't seen, I believe, at all. We had 2 games of Coastline yesterday.
Not once.
No, we've seen it twice yesterday. I believe that Empire played against Prismatic.
Yeah, they played that once.
And Trust played against Prismatic as well. So we did have to see a bit of Coastline yesterday, and Penthouse and Theater, nobody went near it. It was never really touched. It was everything else. You've seen the Kitchen.
I think a lot of that is just Theater is really hard to defend now with so many hard breachers able to open up the other side of the wall. It just becomes really difficult to defend. I mean, yeah, you could defend against people pushing in from Penthouse itself, but yeah, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be in the works anymore. But you never know. Maybe we'll see them really dominate the defense on this bomb spot this time.
So let's have a look and find out exactly where Penta want to attack from. They have stuck Revan on that Ashe. So you're expecting to see some pretty hot frags from him. We hope to see some hot frags from him, because certainly if you're going to have that R4C in your control, you better be pretty good with it. We know how strong that gun is after those recoil changes to it, where even with the ACOG, it still has essentially no recoil whatsoever. It's a very, I would say, utility-based lineup for Penta. You can see that they also have Zofia and Buck for that soft destruction, that if they need to, you can bring the Buck in below, start ripping up the floor, trying to get some of these anchor positions gone as well. And Zofia will be a big part in actually being able to take out that Clash, who, if you did not know, those concussion grenades will be able to stun the Clash, and her shield will move away, gives you an open shot to fire at her legs and hopefully get the kill.
And that's really going to come down to team coordination, because Zofia herself cannot usually get the shots down after it because switching is very slow. So you usually need a teammate for that. If they are coordinated for it, then absolutely. But you never know. It could be the case where the Clash player there is just so on top of it. Drid has taken a little bit of damage already, though, so they have found a little bit of weakness, and they could be going in for potential flank as well. So it looks like a lot of good fight happening here, but well played by Drid, stalling out Panics.
Seems to be that they're going to try and opt to go for the A bomb site over the B. That, of course, is going to be, I would say, a lot stronger for them, because they don't have that Thermite where they don't have to worry about taking the VIP with those exothermic charges. Baraz playing very aggressive, and the frag grenade almost ends his life, and he will end Panics' his life with that amazing pick. And that was going to be the Buck out of control. Panics, that team captain for Penta Sports, will fall.
The great trade back, and Baraz with the second one. That is why that ACOG is such a beast. I see so many Maestros playing that L hallway to such great effect, and absolutely Baraz is no exception to that. So 2 members of Penta already down. This Clash is really doing its job. There we go, another one. Revan, unfortunately, for no more hot frags coming out from him. Baraz with his 3rd.
That's going to be it. Penta Sports fall so quickly against Vodafone Giants. I'm actually just trying to think about it. How have they actually all died within that time frame, not even getting a kill for themselves either, and that just shows the strength that Clash can bring to these defenses, where you already have control of that main corridor area. You can sit there, you can rotate back in towards the theater if you need to, and that's kind of, you know, the thing about Clash is she has a shield. just like Montagna is. But for Montagna, you need to take map control before you can really utilize him. If you're pushing into a building as Montagna and trying to attack defenders, you don't know what could be around the corner. As a Clash, you already have that map control established, and you can stand there, know what places are safe, know where your teammates are going to be stationed, and that just gives that flexibility of moving back and forth and don't have to worry about really getting flanked like Montagna would as an attacker.
Yeah, definitely in that case. I mean, it was played very well in that hallway. Although I got to say there was some mistakes by PENTA in the sense of overly focusing on trying to take the hallway, because Braz was able to fully exploit that. You have an ACOG way around the corner behind that Clash shield. It's just a matter of timing, and it was seemingly always in Braz's favor. So absolutely a mistake from PENTA to continue to push that, throw bodies at the problem. And you saw the final kill, though, was a different area of the map, but too little too late there. We'll see how they do on bar. There is not going to be a Clash this time. It is going to be a mute being played. That should be interesting to stop a little bit of droning potentially into the door itself. That might make a little bit of a harder push into the doorway of Sunrise Bar. But we'll see how things go. Pretty much the same lineup coming out here from PENTA.
You're expecting to see this top floor hold being established by Vodafone Giants. Of course, you need to hold that billiards and hookah as much as you can, because then that nullifies the fact that PENTA Sports could take control of that and get their buck end, start ripping up that floor, really cause a lot of havoc for your defense, especially whenever they are having these pretty heavy anchors with the Maestro, with the smoke. Then, as an attacker, you need to get rid of those big threats, because those will be the game-changing factor if you will win that round due to a plant or if you won't. And that's exactly what PENTA will look to do. You do see also Dread playing very aggressive as the smoke. Typically, we would see him on bomb site, but no, he will play more of an off-site. Hold does have that SMG-11, can do a lot of damage from that long range as well, and equally, that shotgun can get pretty tasty up close and personal as well.
Well, I like seeing the careful approach coming out here from PENTA after throwing way too many bodies at the problem last time. They're droning it out a lot more carefully, looking for any opportunities they can find. Sake, though, holding a nice angle. Usually you open that up quite a bit more to be able to rotate through it, so it's interesting that he's using just a peek hole. He is going to get spotted here by this drone. Oh, no, potentially. Panics, unfortunately, gets jammed. Good on that mute there, definitely denying a lot of intel. Unfortunately for Sake, we're not going to see Panics push into that room blindly, so PENTA really slowed down at the moment, hoping a grenade will change things for them. There we go, and it certainly does.
Excellent.
Well played.
That was pretty picture perfect there for PENTA. Panics, knowing that somebody will be located inside of those blue stairs. Those little vent hatch, they can be very deadly. There's a couple of them in this map which can be used. There's one right above the aquarium bar area as well, even one inside of Hall of Fame. Sometimes just defenders are not aware that sometimes that can happen to you, and if Panics, being the player he is, takes full advantage of that. Ooh. And look at that, Revan going just to shoot down the barricade, and he ends up picking up Barrage in the crossfire, so it does go in favor of PENTA Sports leading into the final minute.
I'd say at this point they've killed the two high fragging operators on Vodafone Giants, so now they're a huge advantage, not just to mention the man count here, but Vasily turning it back as he gets traded as well by Hungry, 2v4.
It does give Vodafone a little bit of a fighting chance getting rid of Panics on that buck, so Lion certainly can stay here and doesn't have to worry about getting opened up above, but Revan will certainly be the man who will push in if he needs to, as that's actually what he will do, and he gets the pick onto Lion as well. So down to Dread, who tried to go for the late rotate in through the kitchen, and he'll be stuck to try and clutch this round up for Vodafone Giants, but at this stage, Diffuser gets planted. Everybody in PENTA is aware where he is. Actually, maybe not, as that will be enemy getting eliminated. Wasn't too sure exactly where he was, but Hungry does have that angle, has the crossfire, so as soon as Dread does attempt to walk in through that double door, he will get shut down by the M762. Instead, Dread is going to go for a little walk upstairs. Bit of a weird one. I don't really know what he's thinking about at this stage. But yeah, certainly PENTA Sports, very strong round. Panics had a lot of good plays there with that frag grenade, and Revan, he will finish things off. And Vodafone Giants lose their first round against PENTA Sports.
PENTA doing a much better job that round of picking off individual players of Vodafone Giants, getting map control. A lot of good aggressive plays as well. While they did have the mute, obviously in the situation, for example, like that was a perfect demonstration of why they didn't necessarily care too much about the mute. Just a lot of good plays by all the players individually. Revan, though, a lot of great kills from him. You're talking about expecting a lot of frags from the last round. Definitely demonstrated it that round, and you can see why he picks that operator. But that was a very different play on a very different bomb site. Now that they go to Hookah, their third bomb site, they're not going to stick to bar despite being able to play it a second time. Perhaps we could see why, though, after getting decimated so badly that last round. But that only brings it to an even 1-1, and Sir Boss can sneak in a 6th pick again.
Still is Coastline. Every bomb site is defendable. I'm sure that Vodafone Giants are very flexible in what they can do with their bomb sites. Equally, Penta, whenever we see their defense, then yeah, we're expecting to see Penta have these combination of strategies that we expect from a Pro League team, a very old Pro League team. Look how long some of these players have been around. Sir Boss, I would say, would be the newest player because he was always inside Challenger League, but certainly Panic's Enemy, look how long they date back, being teammates with each other way back in year 1, alongside in Playing Ducks. So you're expecting this team to really pull out all the stops in terms of strat-wise, yeah, but in terms of gun skill, it's kind of even matched at the moment. We know how good the players in Vodafone are. You have players there like Lion, like Dread, who are also ex-Pro League players, let's not forget, on the side of G-Bots. So they can do a lot of damage, and at the moment they really have impressed me inside of this tournament.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the case where they're going to be a little bit more out of date in terms of that Pro League play versus a team that's already in the middle of the pack of Pro League itself. So a lot of potential from Penta, but I got to imagine Vodafone Giants can potentially adapt here and come back, although getting peaked like that could have been very bad. Vasily has been playing this Doc quite a bit. Unfortunately, doesn't pay off that round, but it's interesting to see a Doc and a Rook, and the Rook itself already half health. I think he was doing a much better job on that Maestro, who has been given over to Lion now. So hopefully Barras is able to get a heal from his teammate of Vasily if they get that chance. But they are playing very aggressive game onto these windows right now. A lot of peeking happening. We were the Penta guys were talking on stage about making the Giants uncomfortable, but it seems Vodafone's trying to do the exact same thing right on back to them. Unfortunately, just not working out for the first almost minute here.
Yeah, that's free ACOGs on the side of the defenders. Of course, double French isn't something that we see all too often, but it can work as a pretty good combo. The Doc never hits a miss, and Enemy, he will already open up a nice bit of breaching. It doesn't allow anybody to sit in towards that bomb site, but Vasily, playing aggressive with that Doc, will eliminate Ravan, and Drid will pick up a kill for himself as Panics will also fall. So a horrific start for PENTA Sports and an excellent one for Vodafone.
Sir Boss as well, just about to walk into an ambush if he can't get some droning going on here. I mean, it's not unpredictable at all to be behind that couch, but he's worried about someone also playing behind the bar, having to watch too many angles here. He's going to either have to make, I was going to say, a risky choice or just bail, and that's what he's chosen to do, is just bail off. This is good, though, because it'll keep Vasily watching that angle if he doesn't know Sir Boss is left. Now's the time for them to work together as a team instead of individuals trying to fight a 3v5.
Still over a minute to go for the players of PENTA Sports to at least salvage something out of this round, but you can see all of the ACOG angles will be held. A fight back between Hungary and Barras, but nothing will come of it. I'm sure they will have a second time. Downstairs, Enemy will finally get the first kill for PENTA Sports, and he will also look for a second. Doesn't go with the Berry 9, instead he will be running that pistol. Certainly the Berry 9, after his recoil changes, you would expect to still have a little bit inside the meta, but pistol he is going to go for, and also goes for that push and does eliminate Drid. So it does square up into a 3-on-3, leaving it with 40 seconds to go. He is, however, extremely weak on the health. Maybe he could get docked by Vodafone Giants. I don't think that's going to be the case, but
would love to see that.
That would be funny. But still, Vodafone Giants, they have control of the bomb site. 30 seconds on the clock. PENTA Sports, they have to start moving, get themselves set up in a position. As you can see, all three players are going to be very spaced out. Hungry trying to push in by himself through towards that hookah lounge. That concussion grenade will manage to land its target onto Barrage, but will Hungry land the shots that he needs? Going to look in for the impact hole. He sees the Rook and managed to eliminate Barrage. Sir Boss also jumps on over, gets the kill, and Lion will get one for his troubles, but no, Sir Boss double kill for the IQ. And PENTA Sports, somehow they managed to win that round after a horrific start, losing out Panics and Revan very early on. But the remaining three players of Penta will show why they're in the team. And Vodafone, another round loss, which seemed to be a pretty winnable position for them.
Yeah, it was interesting that it came down to 3v3 with lower health on the attackers against 3 ACOG defenders. And it might have just been the case, well, they pushed very aggressively on them. And ACOG doesn't work so great necessarily when you're being pushed very aggressively. But Vodafone Giants going to take a tactical timeout to try and figure out why they've lost those last two rounds, why that lead turned into a loss for them, and what they could do a little bit better. This is a bit early, I would say, for a tactical timeout, but maybe something's being spotted here by maybe their coach that he wants to give him that insight.
I would imagine it is going to be the coach's call. That's the reason why you have the coaches standing behind you. You can see everything that your team is doing. He sees there's something not right. They have, to be fair, they have just through a 3-on-5. You would expect then a tactical pause to come out and say, stop this right now. No more of this is continuing on. Better to get it early. Better to get your teammates in the right mindset than wait until a halftime switch. And by that stage, Penta could be 4-1 up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they did win the first round on the harder to defend bomb site. They have yet to go to kitchen, though. So I got to imagine that that could be their next move here. Try and play what potentially is a safer bomb site than the ones they've been playing. But either way, I think there's definitely potential for Vodafone Giants to come back on this because they've had some, as you said, a good start, for example, last round. It was 3 1v1s really at that point because all the defenders and all the attackers were spread out. Just came down to the gun skill and potentially intelligence and aggression coming out from the Penta players, and that is something that Vodafone Giants are really going to need to play against. Maybe play a little bit closer together, try and trade out deaths at the very least. But Kitchen, as I was saying, is going to be the next choice there. I think that was a smart call. Hopefully they can succeed on this bomb site and not give up too much more ground to Penta.
So it will be the kitchen and service entrance for Vodafone. And we will see Sir Boss. We did see him have that 6-pick option where he just picked an operator, then went ahead and picked something else. But no, he will stick with the Ying.
This is a good operator for this bomb
This
site.
is very deadly in terms of Sir Boss. He was known for his Ying plays on T4H, his old team in CL.
Same with his teammate Hungry.
Yeah, same with him. But I think Sir Boss, he's going to have the upper edge in that. As you know, Hungry, he's been stripped of that title no more.
I still would love to see Hungry play it again because it gets banned against him so often. You almost never see him get to play it in Pro League anymore. But yeah, it's definitely a case where I'd love to see how Sir Boss plays this. I wonder if he'll go with the shotgun like Hungry does because Hungry will play it very aggressive.
That might be why Hungry isn't playing Ying because
right?
Panic says no shotgun for you.
Well, either way though, he's going to be playing a good operator, so I imagine there's definitely a lot of potential for this round. But as we were talking about, this is a better bomb site in theory for Vodafone Giants, but they're really going to have to watch delivery and make sure they don't get any kind of heavy Ying push coming from those Candelas and aggression coming from the other side as well. We'll see though, if Penta start taking the bar, Sunrise bar first, which it looks like they're droning, chances are there'll be a push from that side rather than from delivery, but you never know.
You do also see Vasily scattering about some black eyes, trying to get that early intel, I believe, from some of the cameras he did throughout, try and realize where are Penta pushing from. At this stage, you should see nobody's outside of that delivery entrance, so naturally then they should think that, yeah, the Sunrise and Blue Bar push is going to be incoming, and that certainly is the play that Penta will make. Also upstairs, Hungry will try and establish a bit of a beachhead to assault these roamers top floor, which you need to always clear those roamers because on coastline you have a lot of rotations, you have the 2 sets of staircases and also that big courtyard that you can simply hop out either of the 2 windows and then straight down into a better position. So certainly if you can get a player like Hungry open up these soft walls with those impact grenades, then yeah, that can work very well in terms of what Penta want to achieve. Of course, trying to get Panics in with the sledgehammer, open up that verticality, eliminate the anchor positions. But Dread, he will actually respond with a kill onto Hungry. He loses that 1v1 fight. Hungry, bit of a weird one from him.
Well, it's definitely the case. Like you said, that top floor control they were going for, really contested by the Vodafone Giants. Now it looks like they're instead switching over for more of a downstairs take and not worrying about the top floor, but that could really bite them if, let's say, Diffuser gets planted or they go for the plant and they have top floor control still, they could potentially open up some of the floor to do it. But Drid getting in a little bit of a fight there, unfortunately cannot find the kill, and now drones come out from enemy to find out what he's up against.
Sake still on this aggressive roam, has that blue stairs that he can of course take full advantage of. Also, the courtyard could be another one, and these players of Penta are starting to stack up outside of that kitchen door. Candelas will start to get thrown in as Sir Boss does jump right on through the window and manages to get eliminated by Barrage, but that will give the go-ahead for the rest of the members from Penta. But no, Vodafone Giants comes in with a flank. Revan finally managed to eliminate Saki, and enemy will also eliminate Vasily down to Barrage. Does he manage to find Ash? He does not. Enemy and Revan still down to extremely low health, clutchable for the Alden in this position, and he will manage to down enemy, but Revan will still be alive and well. But no, Barrage, he comes in with the clutch, manages to get to the fuse, and Vodafone Giants salvage at least something from that round. Penta the throw from them. Maestro still doing work with that ACOG.
Definitely good job there. Unfortunately, yeah, just not having the map control at all. We saw them struggle on the top floor control. They did manage to get the plant though, so kudos to Penta managing to get that plant stuck. But they were just not prepared to defend it at that point. They'd also lost some members of the team, just did not have the control they needed. And unfortunately, that's when the clock's working against you. You can only do so much despite that. So defenders definitely taking advantage of the advantage that they had. Was smart of them to finally play that kitchen, as you saw, succeeded, but they are going to go back up to Penthouse, and I don't know, I kind of question whether or not this is a good idea at this point with the way that Penta have been playing against it. We'll see, though. This is their last defensive round, so might as well, I guess, give it a try if you really think you know what to do to fix what didn't work last time.
So it's more the case, I believe, what Penta is really going to do differently. Last time for this bomb site, Vodafone, they had the clash. No clash this time, however. It will instead, I believe, be the Doc coming back into that rotation, which they have picked quite frequently, which is a bit of a surprising one. And that 6th pick on the Kapitai.
That should be interesting here.
Typically, we would see that combo with Glaz, who we know is let through, but...
Yeah, it surprises me no one's playing Glaz, honestly. Maybe when we see the side switch, though, Vodafone Giants will go for that. But Penta definitely maybe used to Glaz being banned, because I would say
that's true.
When it comes to Pro League, this map, especially Glaz, does get banned pretty frequently, so their strats are most likely to not involve Glaz. And also, they might just not have a player on the team that's super confident playing Glaz. Can't think of necessarily one who is a standout Glaz player, so if you're not good on it, why pick it? It's just, you can't really get the full mileage out of it then. So I like the use of Baraz's Bailiff here to open up some nice little holes on the floor to help defend below. That's going to make sure that they can't take control of that downstairs. For example, if they wanted to bring a Buck, I do think it was less of a good choice to bring the Sledge versus the Buck, because you can use that from below in quite a few areas of this bomb site, but they might not have known what bomb site it was going to be.
Another thing that's a bit strange, I would say, for Coastline, especially for this bomb site, is we're going to see no C4 denial from below, no Pulse, no Valkyrie, something that is certainly very, very common for destructible maps. Not just Coastline, you could talk about Border as well being one of them.
So many people have played plant on the bed these days, though. Maybe it's a case of just they're not, expecting to deal with someone planting in an area they can C4. Not that you can't C4 on the bed by throwing it up at an angle, but that's literally a long shot at that point, kind of a Hail Mary throw.
Yeah, I'll always remember from the Paris Major that Meatbee did from Seeker, where he just tossed it right up and landed it onto the pool table. That
masterclass.
I'm pretty sure it's probably the best C4 we had off that competition, and it would be cool if we've seen some more of those.
It's definitely going to come sooner or later, especially with how much Coastline play we've seen in this tournament. I don't think this will be the last time we see Coastline either, especially with the best of 3 for the finals.
Yeah, and especially whenever looking at the next matchup, whoever loses this matchup, they're not out, but they're going to go up against Team Empire, which is certainly, you don't want to play them at the moment the way they're fragging out. You still want to at least see and get to a best of 3 at least against Empire, where you still have that bit of a fighting chance. So even though they're in the losers bracket, still terrifying for both of these teams to play. Sure, Vodafone, they beat them once, but that Empire team wasn't as strong as they were today. Well, or yesterday, should I say.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're really seeing a really stacked up push on a Hall of Fame. We did see Enemy finally open up the wall with the X-Kairos to get an angle and a kill from it right onto Lion. That's the smoke down. That is the exact operator they needed to kill for this plant. And Revan, there we go, taking one more down on the Doc, the long-range fighter. They are all set up for a plant with 1:10 left.
Really good aggression coming in from PENTA Sports. Dread will try this flank, and also Barrage, and he picks up a double kill, double headshot to Ravan, and Hungary. Excellent from Barrage, who has been the saving grace for the players of Vodafone, but in the midst of that, the diffuser will be planted. Enemy will try and hold these angles as much as he can. It would be the smart play for Panics or Sir Boss potentially rotate Sir Boss, just talking about him, picks up a double kill, and Panics will finish off Dread from that flank. And PENTA Sports hold their ground, and they will take the lead going into the halftime switch.
I would say the biggest mistake they made on that defense was not bringing anything to deny the X-Kairos on the wall from VIP, because that is just one of the basic things you do. You bring a bandit, and then you can deny that wall, or you can deny the theater wall. Especially with, let's say, a mute jammer. Yeah, you're not going to trick and stop a thermite or anything like that, but you have enough mute jammers to jam both walls. And that is a situation with them where they really have to work to get that open. In this case, they didn't. They took VIP control, they took Hall of Fame control, opened it up, pressed for the plant, got some good kills, and unfortunately, it was just all over from there for Vodafone Giants. But a nice attempt, as you said, from Baraz. He has been a beast on that Maestro. But now it's Enemy's turn as the side switch happens, and Bar is going to be the primary for Penta.
We did touch upon just a little bit of that glass, and we certainly will be seeing that just accompanied by Montagna as well. So this is something that we did see from Trust yesterday, where they kind of went for this combo against Prismatic with, you know, the Montagna, where they tried to rush on in, and they did manage to successfully get, I would say, one of the best plants that we've seen all tournament.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty spicy game here. If Baraz is anywhere near as good on the glass as he has been on the Maestro, we'll see how Drid plays that shield. But these guys, going back to the G-Bots days, were pretty heavy shield players and definitely good at doing that. So I expect some good work coming out from Drid here. Definitely going to make it hard on Penta. But Penta are used to dealing with a lot of plays like that. I got to imagine they're going to be able to, if they can get the intel on it early and good positioning, maybe try and shut down Drid early. Although the only operator they have to kind of somewhat directly do that is going to be Hungry on that smoke. So chances are they're either going to have to collapse on him or wait till he gets into Smoke's range.
Just getting rid of some of those drones, which of course can always be deadly for a roamer. That's something that certainly Flynn touched upon a lot between the Team Empire game and Prismatic, where Prismatic, they lost every single drone with inside the preparation phase at one stage, which is something that you never want to really happen against roamers, and especially Team Empire, who we know that they have very capable roamers, like the man Joystick, of course, who is always going to be, I would say, at the moment, definitely MVP of the tournament so far. Maybe some players on Vodafone Giants, such as Barrage, may say otherwise if he does well on this glass. This is a very strong position for the glass. Can see straight into the heart of that billiards room. Can also rotate his way over towards the hookah lounge, trying to cut off some of the rotations. Castle Barricade will make things a little bit troublesome for the Montagna, but of course they do have Sake using the Sophia. Panics will pick up the first kill from that blue stairs. Vasily will fall. I believe he tried to enter in from below, and he will be shut down automatically.
Well, I gotta say though that Castle Barricade in Aqua actually, once they've cleared the room, is gonna work a little bit in their favor because they can sit in the room a little more safely, assuming the defenders don't have the timing or an impact nade, for example, or have pre-hit it, to be able to quickly open that for a surprise attack, which could catch behind Monty. But that's going to come down to timing. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Sir Boss has just been pressed behind bar instead, and he has opportunities here, but he's going to need help from Panics.
Yeah, the Vodafone Giants are currently inside of the top floor. They're going to try and clear out these roamers, but Panics and Sir Boss will hold their ground. Sure, it's only Montagna, and they will be ready for it. As Lion, he will get an excellent shot onto Panics through, I believe, the walling into back to the hookah and Hungry. He will still be from below, eliminating Sake. Montagna trying his best to eliminate Sir Boss, but he will fall all the way back downstairs. Lion has managed to certify himself in a better position, and Barrage with that glass, like I was talking about, who can rotate and try and cut off these crossfires, does just that. As Revan will get eliminated, Dread pushes straight down the blue stairs. This is the thing that Montagna has. He could just walk and do what he wants. Nobody can kill him, and there could always be somebody following up right behind. That won't be the case as Barrage and also Lion will rotate themselves over for that wall beside the B bomb site. Smokecaster will get thrown out. Barrage still trying to peek, and Hungry, he will get a little bit too aggressive for his liking, and Barrage will put him to bed. Sir Boss does finally get rid of that Montagna, but Lion squares things up into the advantage going in for Vodafone Giants. Barrage did just get nicked by that smoke. Sir Boss still playing very, very aggressive, but that will not be the case as Barrage. We kind of thought, yeah, this situation, you are a glass straight in the midst of your smoke. And he just cleans up house from there.
Good use of that Evil Eye, though, getting a ping on that glass. Unfortunately, the timing just not working out in Sir Boss's favor. But I liked the idea of the Montaigne coming from the other side, distracting for the glass, so they had to worry about any time he could pull out that pistol and ADS on them while the glass was doing a lot of damage from the other side. Tactical pause now coming out from, or technical pause, I'm sorry. This is not tactical pause being used, as you can see on the screen. So Penta are not using theirs just yet. It is a 3-3 scoreline, though, so if it starts sliding the other way in favor of Vodafone Giants, we could see Penta pulling that out. Hopefully not a major issue here. Probably an audio issue, that tends to be the most common. Yep, audio issue indeed with the microphone. So hopefully get that sorted quickly so they got the comms that they need. Hopefully they didn't affect that round too much.
We can only hope that was the case, that, yeah, it just happened right after the round, but things like this does happen. Is esports at the end of the day? Nothing is perfect, just like life. Nothing's ever perfect, Evan.
I want esports to be better than life.
Except Milosh, who is now staring at me quite horrifically.
try not to think about him. Just makes me feel worse about myself. Well, looks like they might be getting this sorted here. Hopefully they'll be able to get back in relatively soon. This, though, will be potentially a momentum shift. We could see this shift in favor of Penta, as they're going to get an opportunity to kind of think about what they're doing as well, what didn't work that round. But I do think that was a very close round. It was a case where Penta might have been able to do that if, say, for example, Sir Boston had a little bit better timing. He might have been able to snap right on that glass in time with that ping. Drid taking the Montaigne out again, teasing the Maverick first. But they are ready to get going, and this time it's going to be in hookah. They're not going to try bar a second time just yet.
So we'll see how the hookah lounge and billiards room will fare for PENTA Sports. We still know that penthouse and theatre and also the kitchen is always going to be an option for them. Still very defendable bomb sites, but no, the hookah lounge and billiards will be the option for them. I'd imagine we'll probably see the same kind of similar strategy that they attempted for that Blue Bar and Sunrise, where they have these heavy anchors upstairs and trying to control as much as they can. Potentially we could see a bit of a roam game below. It's flipped on its head for the Blue Bar and hookah lounge. You know, both of them are defended similarly, where you do have to defend the top floor for the Blue Bar, and obviously you have to defend the downstairs, and then for hookah you have to defend the upstairs, and also you have to defend the downstairs. So you kind of go from a 3-2 split essentially to a 2-3 split at that stage. So PENTA Sports, they're going to have to try and deny access as much as they can, because we see Vasily has that buck available for himself to come in, rip open the majority of that downstairs, try and eliminate, I would say, Hungry on the smoke would be the main operator he's hunting for, as that just makes Barrage and his life a lot easier, and also Drid on the Montagne doesn't really have to worry about that, as really the smoke hazards are the only thing that can really damage the Montagne at this stage.
Yeah, unfortunately for the defenders, of course, that also works in Glaz's favor, because he can see through those, does almost get a pick through the window, but not quite yet. Now, I got to imagine we might see Montaigne push through into Aqua again, this time put pressure right onto Billiards Room and help set up for a plant, because you rarely see a plant in hookah itself. Generally, they always go from Aqua to Billiards. In this case, though, they do have a buck as well to be able to play a little bit from below. You're talking about that bottom-up, top-down sort of thing going on here. Vasily tries to go for a kill that we saw, you know, a grenade play from Panic before. Unfortunately for Vasily, does not accomplish anything. That is 2 grenades off the board in favor now of Penta, although Enemy has taken a lick of damage.
Enemy also has to be careful that he could potentially get grenaded from that little mini ventilation, just like we did see Panic do very early on. That's something that he should be aware of, as it did happen for his team, and certainly have to be aware. If you're going to use it, then equally the enemy team can use it to you. Talking about Enemy, you know, I think he is struggling just a tad, I would say, on the defense at the moment. He was very strong in the Habana. Hopefully he can pick things up. Revan, we've seen he did a lot of damage with the R4C on the Ash, which we expected him to do. And he will be the lone defender downstairs inside of the Blue Bar. And as you can see, Vasily, just like we said, he will be looking to try and enter in through that Blue Bar, rip open some of the floor below the defenders. Enemy will also look to provide a bit of cover for Revan, try and get those crossfires and the refrags, and it's all about the refrags. We've seen how good Empire did do, and Hungry, that's a massive kill for him, as Barrage will be going to sleep.
Yep. Step 2. They need to take out that Monty now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You kill Drid, and this stage, the whole entire Vodafone Giants defense, or the attack, just completely crumbles, and hopefully then Penta, they will manage to go on and take that to the 4-3 in their advantage. Lion, he is pushed in under the cover of those smoke grenades and is attempting to plant. Sir Boss will throw out a C4 and land the target onto Lion. Drid will still be alive, so the Montagne is still going to be a massive threat. Vasily, he finally gets himself in Blue Bar, but at this stage he just doesn't have enough time. Sake manages to eliminate Enemy, and Drid says no to Sir Boss, and a pistol kill as well from Drid. Sake, another kill for him, and somehow it's ended up in Vodafone Giants' favor. Down to Revan, both these players very, very low, could be clutchable. Go for the impact nade, goes to potentially the trick, gets it down onto Sophia. Drid goes for the plant, but this is extremely difficult for Revan to actually clutch this. It will be a Montagne versus a Legion. No C4 for the Legion. Revan's going to have to try his best, get a couple of goo mines in there as well, but Drid just kiting around the Legion. The fuse, may he stick it? Drid should be able to get the pistol kill. Excellent from Dread, just playing so patient, so safe, and really at this stage, Revan, he should never clutch this. Trying his best, but he's just not going to be fast enough to get around the backside of the Montagne. And somehow Vodafone Giants, being in a very, very hurtful position, has managed to take this round against PENTA Sports.
Unfortunately, at this point, not enough time left to even hit the diffuser. Dread still wins it with the knife kill there. What a play. I said step 2 was taking on the Montaigne. Obviously, they didn't adhere to that, and that is why it completely failed. You rarely see a Monty solo plant victory like that. Well done by Dread, and absolutely coming out first team. Although, I got to give a credit to the rest of the team for doing a great job eliminating most of the defense first.
Just Dread playing absolute monster. That pistol kill was insane by the Montagne. Revan tried his best, but just not enough time. Didn't have that free speed where you can run around as a free speed and attempt to stab the Montagne in the back, but Montagne just being that wall, indestructible wall that is always going to be a threat. You cannot just go for the simple defuse, as he can simply switch and go for the pistol. He knows how to count to 7 seconds, so he will be ready for that. And we will see a tactical pause finally coming out for PENTA Sports. This is these guys in the deep end, and they really need to get out of it and get back to safety net, get in there, at least take it to 4-4. If they let Giants go 5-3, then yeah, that starts to get a little bit worrisome for PENTA Sports.
I got to imagine they felt like they should have won that round, and I kind of agree. I feel like they should have been able to pull off that round earlier on before that flurry of kills came out. And the ability for the Monty to even get one of the kills in the middle of that as well, definitely not something that PENTA should have let happen, because they had such an advantage taking out that glass early from, oddly enough, the SMG-11 of Smoke from Hungary. But nonetheless, because they couldn't take out the Monty, that definitely didn't work out. They need to re-strategize, because that's twice now the Monty has been pushing on them and won the round, or part of contributing to winning the round. So they need to rethink defending against Monty. They are going to go to a third bomb site, though. Again, they could play the previous 2 because they lost them, but they are going to go to Kitchen, something we saw be the good choice for Vodafone Giants as well.
So it will be the same, pretty much exact same lineup for Vodafone. I believe they have switched the sledge in for the Buck. So maybe Facility just not kind of feeling that that Buck instead the sledge is an option, which we have seen a lot of people do outside this tournament, where Buck hasn't worked for them and then they've switched back to sledge. But everything else stayed the same. They have Dread on that shield. Of course, Barrage right behind him with the glass. Bit of soft destruction with Sophia, and of course that ever so important hard destruction from Lion. PENTA Sports taking, I would say, more of an aggressive lineup. They have brought these Valkyrie cameras into the mix as well, so maybe the intel from them just hasn't really been there where they need it to be. And also, for the first time, Ella will be brought to the table as well by Enemy. We'll see if he can do some damage with that.
Yeah, both Enemy and Panics play Ella a lot, so I'd say a lot of experience in using that. Well, there's definitely going to be some traps, I think, around some of these entranceways as well to slow down a potential delivery push.
That will be the case. You can see one of the Grismont mines will be right up above that service entrance doorway, and Revan will manage to snag a Valkyrie camera right above that service entrance, so they really are fearing this potential Glass Montagne push, so having that intel right outside of it does give you that distinct advantage. Whenever you know where the attacking team will be pushing from, you can rotate all of your resources and your utility in towards that service entrance, really pile up all the numbers, and then it's just kind of a kill fest from there. Who kills who quicker and who gets the refrags, more importantly.
Well, I definitely think the Monty and the Glass are really going to be the biggest problem, of course, we were talking about before. If they can take care of those early, that might be great, but a run out, unfortunately, does not work out for Baraz. And so another time now where they've taken out the Glass early, all they need to do now is worry about that shield. I think they can handle the rest of the players on this team otherwise.
A massive kill coming in for PENTA Sports as once again Barrage, he will be eliminated first for the side of Vodafone Giants. Last time we did see that Vodafone managed to pull off an unwinnable position, and that really does set teams apart, as if you can clutch up in those positions where you just shouldn't. Certainly Vodafone have done it once. Can they keep that luck going just a little bit longer before the oil well does run dry? Dread will be moving in by himself, quite surprisingly, and has to be careful of the holes from below that are being made.
I like that play there. He was getting droned in and being able to get in clearly. Unfortunately, Enemy was not on top of that, just not watching carefully enough. He knows he's upstairs there. Right now, basically just Monty be used for clearing roams upstairs, but that means the delivery push, I think he's pretty much given up on at this point without the glass. But nonetheless, Lion gets a nice thermite kill onto Panics of all people. Big kill, I would say, taking down the Maestro this early.
Ravan also missed his Nitro Cell onto Vasily. He was looking for that Sledge, and Sledge certainly in an excellent position to uproot the majority of these anchor positions. Will rotate in towards the penthouse as well and try and, I would say, really try and pinch Hungry in a very awkward position. You can Sledge right above Hungry and get the kill onto him. It's just a matter of fact of when Vasily will do that. 45 seconds on the clock. They don't have that main point man in the form of Barrage with that glass, but certainly Montagna can do most of the dirty work, and especially whenever Lion can follow up with the egg bomb enemy. Excellent pick from him. Lion will fall, and Vasily, he will get the refrag, however. Upstairs, still playing that vertical game. Dread has managed to find his way deep inside of the service entrance and will potentially try and go for the plant. Smoke canister and also gas canister will be expended, and they will try and go for the plant. Ravan careful of anybody who may want to hop in through the single window. Sees Sophia, picks up that kill. Dread also manages to find another one for himself with the pistol. So 2 versus 2 Hungry. Can try and deny this with the shotgun. Tries to cut off the exit. Sees the bottom of the thermite. Will manage to land the shots, and Dread down to him. Did thankfully kill Ravan. Defuse will be planted, but with all the time to go, it should be pretty simple for Hungry to walk up, finish off the round. What a play from Hungry, and PENTA Sports equal up 4 rounds apiece.
And we're seeing a very repeat pattern here from both teams where they lose Bar and Hookah, and then they go to Kitchen and finally win it. So definitely you're seeing which bomb sites work better for these teams. Seems like Penthouse and Kitchen are the only bomb sites that really seem to work for defenders. Enemy, though, with a great play there. He had a couple of great plays, and look at that shotgun plays from Hungry. Just unfortunate. This time, Monty's left alone once again for a solo plant, but this time, just not going to work out. Great plays. Delivery not going to be really much of a contest without that glass. So again, the early kill on glass, putting them at a huge advantage. Unfortunately, the previous time they couldn't turn it into a win, but that time they did. Now they can go back to Bar. They're going to have to try and, once again, take Baraz off that glass.
They will also make things a little bit more interesting with the Ying being brought to the table. So this is a very scary lineup for Vodafone. If they're attempting to go for a potential smoke rush plant, then yeah, this works out very well for them. They still have the Montagna and the glass, but certainly Sake on the Ying is a different face for us, and he will stick with it as well. Not even sick picking out of it, he will stick with this. So this screams rush, plant, smoke, win the round. That's kind of what I'd imagine that Vodafone are thinking about at this stage, where they're just going, things haven't worked, let's just try something new, let's try something different, and it could catch PENTA by surprise.
Well, they're absolutely, with those operators combined, a Monty, a Glass, and a Ying, it is smoke plant heaven at that point. You smoke it, throw in the Candelas, you get Glass there to cover along with Monty to protect his flank, and it's a perfect plant situation where there's very little outside of smoke that they can really do about it, and as well, potentially a C4 from Revan on that mute. So both Hungry and Revan are going to need to stick around if they want to do anything about that. They do have the previous Evil Eye there as well on that Bar side, so they can potentially see through that smoke. That is the one thing that can work in their favor, but Monty's shield, doesn't matter if he's spotted or not, if he's looking the angle you're trying to hit, you can't do much about it.
Yeah, just that shield has been a real big uprise, I would say, on Coastline. We've seen so much of it this tournament as well, even coming out from Trust Gaming in their match against Prismatic. They played that a ton as well. And Barrage, he certainly will be that point man, like we've talked about, trying to get those frags. As he has, I would say, died down a little bit since those first couple of rounds where he played so big with the Maestro. He still had a really good 4K, I believe, with the glass on this particular bomb site as well, but these past 2 rounds he has died very, very early on, and it did give PENTA that significant advantage. But it won't just be that very simple rush, plant, smoke that you did talk about. Devon, it will instead be a very slow, methodical, and he will attempt to take control of the top floor and try and get Vasily in, working the magic with the sledgehammer, and then eventually the players of PENTA will fall just because they cannot sit inside the bomb site.
Well, definitely, yeah, potential there for that to happen. They are taking the top floor control because Dread is able to stay alive the entire round pretty much as that Monty. He's done a great job of doing exactly that. So that does give them the opportunity to clear that top floor without too much risk, but they've got to think about the time management because it does take a while for Monty to rotate around, although based off last round, they have been able to pull that off in terms of getting Monty around for the plant when time gets dwindled down. But the fact that they have not been able to finish, as I was going to say, Enemy and Revan off, but Revan is next potentially to die as Panics goes first. This is falling apart quickly for Penta.
Extremely falling apart quick for Penta. That's more like it, Devon, as Sake just puts another nail in the coffin. So down to Hungry and Ravan, the two SAS operators will have to clutch up for their team to at least take them to that match point. But no, Lion will say the dreams will be crushed for Penta, and that's exactly what will happen, as a very emphatic and quick round for Vodafone Giants, and they go match point against PENTA Sports. Definitely not the outcome we were expecting inside of this matchup.
No, this is not going as well for Penta as we would like, that's for sure. Vodafone Giants really playing against them. I mean, I hate to say it, but they are abusing the operators that are very difficult to deal with. But
they're not banned.
To be fair, though, Penta has been able to kill, as we were talking about, Baraz quite a few times early, so I wouldn't say too bad, but that Monty seems to be a real stickler for them. Drid is doing a fantastic job. He's doing the exact same fake he does every time, it looked like. But no, he's actually going to just show the Monty. Not sure if that's to tease him and then 6th pick off it to the Maverick, or if he's just like, why hide it at this point? But their last bomb site going to be Hookah for the last round, potentially, if they can't take this to overtime. So there's, finally a pulse, something we have yet to see this entire matchup so far. But the Monty is going to stick, it looks like. So Vodafone Giants continuing with, well, what's working from this lineup.
This is the only saving grace I can ever see for Penta at this stage, is you need to get Revan downstairs inside of the office, and you need to get that C4 kill on to the shield. This is pretty sure the only out that Penta could really go for. The smoke hasn't been working, the goo mines haven't been working. C4 from below is then your only option at this stage.
Well, and it's the case where that could be Revan's job. If he's able to catch that Monty standing still anywhere upstairs, let's say in Aqua as they go to try and push into the billiards, that's a perfect opportunity for him. We do see a lot of pulses playing just below that for exactly that reason. But that comes down to smart timing and good call-outs from the rest of your teammates. Maybe those evil eyes even factoring into that. If he could pull that off and kill the Monty, I feel like that could be a real game changer for Penta. But so far, they have not been able to do that at all. There's this room I was talking about. He's potentially going to be playing, at least in that area near Blue Bar.
Yeah, certainly Ravan, he can be very strong in that position. He can, of course, C4 the Montana, which is always going to be the main thing why they have decided to switch him on out. And also he can provide a lot of intel and just the call out, the sheer power that the cardiac scanner gives in terms of you can see 3 people inside of Aquarium, you relay that information, you then have that resources and the utility where everybody in your team thinks, okay, there's 3 of them in there, it's going to be an Aquarium push, let's rotate.
He also helps counter being blinded or smoked out, so that gives a situation where you can't help see that, along with the Evil Eyes doing something similar as well. So between Maestro and Pulse, those are the 2 best counters they have right now to deal with that Monty push, as well as Yin Candela throws. So definitely, yeah, there's a lot of factors at work here that we're anticipating, but it might not even come down to that. We've seen Vodafone Giants go and tear up individual players to where that's not even an issue anymore.
Drid has managed to be the first point man inside of the building. Of course, that's what you're expecting from the Montana. He can just walk on in, do what he wants. Nobody can really say no to him, unless Ravan does say otherwise with the C4. Panics does have a couple of kill holes from below as well. That could be potentially they're expecting Montana to push in somewhere else, and then they have those feet holes from below to potentially try and kill him, but that will not be the case. Ravan not even inside of the office, right underneath Aquarium, instead trying to give as much intel as he can. And Lion, he will peek exactly where Panics was, but Ravan, he will use his C4 not onto the Montana, but Lion nonetheless will be eliminated. Whenever I say Lion, it's the player Lion, not the operator.
That gets slightly confusing.
It does.
Well, either way, though, they did manage to trade that back and finish off Panics, but the rest of them at full health, 4v4, a minute left. This could go either way, but with Revan losing his C4, Drid's in a much better position here, not to mention Glaz is still alive. This is looking dangerous because all their utility that they needed still in their hands. They only lost Thermite, of all things.
Don't even really need Thermite for Coastline, as Prismatic has really shown us yesterday, where they were not bringing not even a Habana was brought to the table.
When you got Glass?
Hey, you got Glass, you got Montagna. What else do you really need? And that's exactly what PENTA Sports have to worry about, as Barrage will start to work his way in and start opening up some holes. And Sir Boss, he's actually going to get gassed by his own teammate through the wall as well. Sake does pick up the kill in these final couple of seconds. A double kill for him. The Candelo's making big for him, but Hungry, he will be there to say no to the Ying anymore. But the diffuser has been planted amidst the chaos that was the Ying. Hungry and Revan have to play so big for their team to give themselves a fighting chance to go through to the grand final. Vodafone could pull off another upset for them. Hungry and Revan not in the best position. Barrage still holding all of these angles. See the banana, but misses it as well. Barrage there still. Vasily picks up the kill. Barrage will finally find the last remaining member of PENTA Sports. Vodafone Giants, more like the Giant Slayers, they should change their name to. And they will move on to the grand final later on today. And PENTA Sports will go into the losers final to face off against Team Empire.
Well, that was the outcome I would say no one expected. While these two were a very good matchup, I don't think anyone saw PENTA losing this just off of their current status. But nonetheless, Vodafone Giants, as you mentioned, being Giant Slayers here, destroying PENTA when it came down to those attack runs. Now, to be fair, it is a very attacker-sided map, and we saw that be the case here. But that Glass Monty combo was just too much for the PENTA players to handle, and unfortunately, they're not going to have to deal with Empire. And we saw how much of a problem that could be. There's still a second chance here for PENTA. They are not out yet. But even if they go through Empire, they still have to come back to fight Vodafone Giants once more. Now, that would be a best of 3, so maybe that will work out a little bit more in their favor, but they've got to work their way there. That will, of course, be the matchup next, will be the PENTA guys versus Empire to see which one of them will be trying the final battle against Vodafone Giants. But a lot of exciting work coming out of these guys. Very impressed with what they've been bringing so far in this tournament.
Just the adaptability was not there for PENTA Sports. They could not play around the Montagna and the Glass. It was just too strong of a combo, and then Vodafone, they just put another shot of adrenaline in their attack with the Ying as well, which you can see done so big in those final couple of 9 seconds inside of the round. And certainly well played to Vodafone.